Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. The courtroom had grown accustomed to shocking revelations during the Sean Diddy Combs trial, but nothing prepared anyone for what happened when Curtis James Jackson III, known worldwide as 50 Cent, walked through the doors carrying a metal briefcase and wearing the satisfied smile of a man who had been waiting years for this moment. Unlike other witnesses who had appeared nervous or emotional, 50 Cent entered with the confidence of someone who held all the cards. Dressed in a sharp charcoal suit with a burgundy tie, he moved with purpose, his eyes locked on Diddy at the defense table. For the first time during the entire trial, Diddy appeared genuinely rattled, his usual composed demeanor cracking as he whispered urgently to his attorneys. As 50 Cent was sworn in, his voice was clear and deliberate. Curtis James Jackson III, professionally known as 50 Cent, and today I'm here to settle some very old business. Prosecutor Sarah Martinez approached, barely containing her anticipation. The prosecution had been tight-lipped about this witness, with only rumors suggesting that 50 Cent possessed significant evidence. Mr. Jackson, you've had a very public and contentious relationship with the defendant over the years. Could you explain the origin of this conflict? 50 Cent leaned back slightly, his trademark smirk appearing. See, that's where everyone got it wrong. People thought me and Sean had beef over music, over money, over ego. But that wasn't it. I had a problem with Sean because I knew what he was really doing behind closed doors, and I wasn't going to let him do it to me or anyone I cared about. What do you mean by what he was really doing? Sean Combs built his empire on three things: talent, intimidation, and leverage over people through their secrets and weaknesses. I watched him destroy careers, manipulate artists, and use information as weapons. And I decided early on that I was going to collect my own information. The prosecutor nodded. Mr. Jackson, you mentioned collecting information. Can you elaborate on that? 50 Cent's smile widened as he gestured to the briefcase beside him. For over 15 years, I've been documenting Sean's behavior. Not because I'm petty, though I am, but because I knew someday someone would need proof of what really goes on in his world. What kind of documentation are we talking about? Photos, videos, audio recordings, financial records, correspondence. I started collecting it all after an incident in 2007 that showed me exactly who Sean Combs really was. Can you describe this incident? 50 Cent's expression became more serious. I was at a release party for one of Sean's artists. Young girl, maybe 19, talented singer from down south. During the party, I noticed Sean kept giving her drinks, being real attentive. She started looking unsteady, disoriented. What happened next? Sean started leading her toward a back room, telling people they were going to discuss her next single. But I could see in her eyes that something wasn't right. She was barely coherent, so I followed them. And what did you witness? I saw Sean take her into a room where there were already cameras set up and other men waiting. When I realized what was about to happen, I intervened. I told Sean I needed to talk to him about a business matter, gave the girl a chance to get away. How did Mr. Combs react to your intervention? He was furious, but he had to play it cool because there were other people around. Later that night, he cornered me and said, "Mind your business, Curtis. What happens in my house stays in my house." That's when I knew I needed to start documenting everything. The prosecutor approached the metal briefcase. Your Honor, the witness has provided the prosecution with multiple pieces of evidence that have been authenticated by our technical team. We'd like to present some of these materials now. Judge Robertson nodded. You may proceed. 50 Cent opened the briefcase, revealing meticulously organized files, USB drives, and what appeared to be small recording devices. This represents 15 years of evidence collection, hidden cameras, recording devices, financial surveillance. I turned myself into a one-man intelligence operation against Sean Combs. How were you able to gather this evidence without detection? Sean always underestimated me because of our public beef. He thought I was just some street rapper with a grudge. He never realized that our feud was actually cover for an investigation. Every time I talked shit about him publicly, it made him less likely to suspect that I was gathering real evidence. The prosecutor held up a USB drive. Can you tell the court what's on this particular device? That's audio from a 2012 meeting between Sean and several industry executives, where they discussed how to handle artists who were becoming too independent or problematic. Sean specifically talked about using compromising material to keep people in line. We'd like to play a portion of this recording for the court. The courtroom speakers crackled to life with Diddy's voice crystal clear. The game is about control, not just music. You give these artists too much freedom, they start thinking they don't need us. But when you have footage of them in compromising situations or financial information that could destroy them, suddenly they remember who's really in charge. Another voice responded, "What about the legal risks?" Sean Diddy's voice again. "What legal risks? These people signed NDAs. They took the money. They participated willingly. And even if they didn't, who's going to believe a drug-addicted artist over established businessmen?" The courtroom erupted in whispers. Diddy's attorney immediately stood. "Objection. This recording is taken out of context and overruled," Judge Robertson said firmly. "Continue, Ms. Martinez." 50 Cent was visibly satisfied with the impact of the recording. "That's just one of dozens I have." Sean was so comfortable in his power that he rarely bothered to check if recording devices were present. "Mr. Jackson, how were you able to place these recording devices?" "I had help. Over the years, people who worked for Sean's security assistants, even some artists, started reaching out to me. They knew about our public beef, so they figured I'd be interested in information that could damage him. What they didn't know was that I was building a legal case, not just looking for gossip." "Can you give us another example of evidence you collected?" 50 Cent pulled out a tablet and handed it to the prosecutor. "This contains video footage from a 2015 party at Sean's Miami mansion. It shows several young women being led into private rooms while clearly intoxicated, and Sean giving instructions to his security team about making sure everyone understands the rules." "What rules was he referring to?" "The footage shows him telling his security that anyone who tried to leave certain areas without permission should be redirected, and that all recording devices should be confiscated except for the ones he had placed for his own purposes." The prosecutor loaded the video onto the courtroom's display system. The footage showed a lavish party, but the focus was on Diddy speaking quietly to several large men in suits. Though the audio was unclear, his gestures toward specific rooms and his obvious authority over the security team painted a disturbing picture. "Mr. Jackson, this appears to be covertly recorded. How did you obtain this footage?" "I had a camera disguised as a button on my jacket. Sean invited me to this party specifically. I think he was trying to get compromising footage of me, but I came prepared." "Why didn't you come forward with this evidence sooner?" 50 Cent's expression became more serious. "Because I knew that without multiple victims coming forward, it would just be my word against his. Sean Combs had too much power, too many connections. I needed to wait until the system was ready to actually listen." "What changed Shocassi Ventura? When she found the courage to come forward publicly, I knew the dam was finally breaking. That's when I contacted the prosecution and offered everything I had collected." The prosecutor pulled out another device. "Can you tell the court about this recording device?" "That's a camera pen I wore to a 2018 industry event. I recorded Sean pressuring a young male artist into attending what he called a career development retreat. The footage shows Sean making it clear that attendance wasn't optional if the artist wanted his album promoted. We'd like to show this footage as well." The video showed Diddy in an expensive suit speaking to a nervous-looking young man in his early 20s. While the conversation appeared cordial to casual observers, Diddy's body language was intimidating, and his words carried clear implications about career consequences. "This is just business," Diddy could be heard saying on the recording. "You're young, you don't understand how opportunities work. But trust me, the artists who succeed are the ones who show up when I call. The ones who don't, well, you can ask them how their careers turned out." As the footage ended, 50 Cent addressed the courtroom directly. "People always wondered why I spent so much time and energy going after Sean Combs. They thought it was petty, thought it was just for publicity. But I grew up in Queens, and where I come from, when you see a predator operating in your neighborhood, you don't ignore it. You deal with it." During cross-examination, defense attorney Patricia Moore attempted to discredit 50 Cent's evidence by questioning his motives and methods. "Mr. Jackson, isn't it true that you've had a personal vendetta against my client for over 2 decades?" "Yes, I have. because your client is a predator who's been using his power to abuse people for over 2 decades. And isn't it true that you've made millions of dollars over the years by creating public controversy and conflict? I've made millions of dollars because I'm a successful businessman and artist, but I've spent hundreds of thousands of my own money documenting your client's crimes. Only these recordings and videos you've presented, they were all obtained without my client's knowledge or consent, correct? In public settings where he had no reasonable expectation of privacy? Yes, I'm not the police. I don't need warrants to record people at parties. Have you shared any of this alleged evidence with media outlets for profit? 50 Cent smiled. Not one piece. Because this wasn't about entertainment or publicity. This was about building a legal case that would actually stick. Mr. Jackson, how do we know these recordings haven't been edited or manipulated? Because I'm not stupid enough to tamper with evidence in a federal case. Every piece of evidence I've provided has been authenticated by the prosecution's technical team. As 50 Cent prepared to step down, the prosecutor asked one final question. Mr. Jackson, what do you hope to accomplish with your testimony today? 50 Cent looked directly at Diddy for the first time during his testimony. I hope to show that Sean Combs isn't the untouchable mogul he pretended to be. He's just another criminal who got away with it for too long because he had money and connections. But money can't buy you innocence, and connections can't protect you from the truth. He then turned to the jury. I've been waiting 20 years to see Sean Combs face real consequences for his actions. Today, finally, the receipts are on the table. As 50 Cent left the witness stand, he walked past Diddy's table and paused for just a moment. Without saying a word, he placed a small thumb drive on the table and continued walking. The thumb drive bore a simple label, Insurance Policy. Outside the courthouse, 50 Cent held an impromptu press conference. This ain't about rap beef or entertainment. This is about justice. And today, justice got some very important evidence. The impact of 50 Cent's testimony was immediate and profound. Within hours, Washer 50 receipts was trending worldwide, and 3 more alleged victims contacted the prosecution, citing his evidence as corroboration for their own experiences. More significantly, the FBI announced that same evening that they were reviewing additional materials provided by 50 Cent that could lead to charges against other individuals in what they described as a broader investigation into industry-wide patterns of abuse. In his final social media post that day, 50 Cent wrote, "Been playing chess while everybody thought we was playing checkers. Checkmate." Disclaimer: the content above is entirely fictional and created for entertainment purposes only. No verified court evidence or official statements confirm these claims.